When a man feels the need to surround himself with multiple women, he is not showcasing strength or confidence, he is revealing a deeper void within his soul. This behavior is not rooted in abundance or capability, it is often a reflection of brokenness and a lack of understanding of his true purpose. Today, we must address this issue not to condemn, but to confront the mindset and the heart behind it. For every action stems from the condition of the heart, and every unhealthy pattern is a sign of an unhealed wound. A man who lacks identity and purpose is like a ship without a compass, drifting aimlessly in the vast ocean of life. He is alive, but he does not truly live because he has no clear understanding of who he is or why he exists. This lack of clarity often drives him to seek validation, comfort, and meaning in external things such as relationships, possessions, or fleeting pleasures. But these things, no matter how many or how grand, cannot fill the void that only self-awareness and purpose can satisfy. When a man does not know his identity, he becomes a wanderer, constantly searching for something to define him. He may look to his career, hoping that his job title or achievements will give him a sense of worth. He may seek affirmation from others, relying on their approval to feel significant. Or he may pursue material possessions, believing that wealth will provide him with a sense of success. Yet, in all these pursuits, he remains unfulfilled because identity cannot be found in external things. It comes from within, rooted in understanding who you are and aligning with the purpose for which you were created. Without identity, a man is vulnerable to external influences. He becomes easily swayed by trends, opinions, and the expectations of others. He may adopt behaviors, attitudes, or lifestyles that are not authentic to who he truly is, simply to fit in or gain acceptance. This constant need to conform can lead to frustration and confusion as he loses touch with his unique qualities and potential. A man who knows his identity, however, is grounded. He is not shaken by the shifting tides of society because his sense of self is firm and unchanging. Purpose is the anchor that gives life direction. When a man understands his purpose, he wakes up each day with intention and focus. His actions are deliberate, and his decisions are guided by a vision of where he is going. But a man without purpose is like a traveler without a destination. He moves, but he goes nowhere. He spends his time and energy on activities that have little meaning or value, often feeling unfulfilled and restless. Purpose provides clarity and motivation, turning ordinary tasks into meaningful contributions and giving him a reason to persevere through challenges. The absence of purpose often leads to a life of distraction. A man who does not know his why will fill his days with activities that keep him busy but not productive. He may chase after temporary pleasures, hoping they will provide the happiness and contentment he seeks. He may become entangled in relationships that distract him from his true potential, using others as a way to escape the discomfort of his inner emptiness. Yet no amount of distraction can replace the deep satisfaction that comes from living a life aligned with purpose. Lack of identity and purpose also affects a man's relationships. When a man does not know who he is or what he stands for, he cannot offer stability or direction to others. His interactions may be shallow or inconsistent as he struggles to connect on a deeper level. In romantic relationships, this can manifest as a pattern of seeking multiple partners, believing that quantity will compensate for the lack of quality and depth. But true connection requires self-awareness and authenticity, qualities that come from knowing one's identity and purpose. Finding identity and purpose is not an overnight process. It is a journey of self-discovery and growth. It begins with introspection, asking the important questions: who am I? Why am I here? What do I value? These questions help to uncover the core truths about oneself and to reveal the unique strengths, passions, and qualities that define an individual. But self-discovery alone is not enough. Purpose must also be pursued through action by setting meaningful goals and committing to a path of growth and contribution. Spirituality often plays a critical role in this journey. For many, identity and purpose are deeply tied to their relationship with their Creator. Understanding that one was designed with intention and for a specific reason provides a sense of significance and direction. It shifts the focus from external validation to divine purpose, allowing a man to live confidently and authentically. He no longer seeks fulfillment in the opinions of others because he understands that his worth is already established. A man who discovers his identity and purpose transforms not only his own life, but also the lives of those around him. He becomes a source of inspiration, a pillar of strength, and a leader who uplifts and empowers others. His confidence is not rooted in arrogance, but in the certainty of knowing who he is and what he is meant to do. His relationships become deeper and more meaningful, as he is able to give from a place of wholeness rather than need. In conclusion, a man who lacks identity and purpose is incomplete, constantly searching for something to fill the void within. But when he takes the time to discover who he is and align with his purpose, he experiences a transformation that brings clarity, direction, and fulfillment. This is the foundation of a life well lived, a life of intention, impact, and significance. It is not found in the opinions of others or in the accumulation of things, but in the realization of one's true self and the pursuit of one's divine calling. The illusion of power and validation is a trap many fall into, believing that external recognition, attention, and admiration equate to genuine worth. Society has conditioned many to measure success by the quantity of relationships, material possessions, or the level of influence one commands. However, this is a deceptive standard, one that promises fulfillment but delivers emptiness. The truth is that power and validation rooted in external sources are fleeting, unreliable, and ultimately insufficient to bring lasting peace and fulfillment. When a man, for example, seeks validation through relationships or attention from multiple women, he may initially feel a sense of power. The constant admiration or affection from others can boost his self-esteem, making him feel desired, important, and in control. But this feeling is not authentic power, it is a fleeting high. It is like a drug, giving a temporary sense of satisfaction. But eventually, the man finds himself needing more attention, more validation, just to maintain the same feeling. The source of his validation is not stable. And as a result, it cannot provide the deep-rooted confidence and self-assurance that true power offers. True power is not found in how many people affirm you, but in knowing who you are and being confident in your identity. A man who is dependent on others' opinions or affections to feel validated is walking a dangerous path. He is allowing his worth to be determined by things beyond his control, placing his emotional well-being in the hands of others. This can lead to a constant cycle of seeking approval, which is exhausting and ultimately unfulfilling. It becomes a never-ending pursuit that never truly satisfies because it is based on the shifting, unpredictable nature of human opinions. This illusion of power and validation can also manifest in the pursuit of wealth, status, and achievements. Many believe that accumulating possessions or attaining high social standing will give them a sense of power and purpose. The more they acquire, the more they are able to prove their worth to the world. However, material success, no matter how great, does not provide inner peace or fulfillment. A man who bases his sense of self-worth on external achievements often experiences anxiety, stress, and dissatisfaction because he knows deep down that these things are not what truly define him. The pursuit of validation through external sources can also erode a man's sense of purpose. When his focus is on impressing others, he loses sight of what truly matters. He becomes more concerned with how he is perceived than with living a life aligned with his values and principles. His decisions are driven by the desire for approval, not by the desire to make a meaningful impact. As a result, he finds himself adrift, lacking direction, and ultimately unfulfilled. The validation he seeks does not come from living authentically or pursuing a greater purpose, but from seeking affirmation in ways that do not nourish his soul. Furthermore, the illusion of power and validation often leads to unhealthy relationships and interactions. A man who craves attention from others may find himself caught in superficial or toxic relationships, where the dynamic is based on external validation rather than genuine connection. He may manipulate, control, or use others to maintain his sense of power, which only leads to feelings of emptiness and loneliness. Real relationships built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding cannot be sustained if the foundation is rooted in the need for validation. It is important to recognize that the external sources of validation we often seek are not inherently bad, but they should never define us. Receiving praise, attention, or recognition is not a negative experience in itself. It becomes harmful when we place our values solely in these things. True power is grounded in self-awareness and self-acceptance. It is the ability to stand firm in who you are, regardless of the opinions or perceptions of others. When a man understands his worth rooted in his identity, he no longer seeks validation from others. He operates from a place of confidence and clarity, knowing that his value is not determined by external factors. Moreover, genuine power comes from having a sense of purpose. A man who knows his purpose is not swayed by the opinions of others because he is guided by something greater than external praise or recognition. His power lies in his commitment to living in alignment with his values and fulfilling his destiny. True validation comes from within, from knowing that you are walking in your calling and making a difference in the world. The shift from seeking external validation to embracing internal power requires a change in perspective. It requires letting go of the illusion that external recognition is the measure of success. It requires recognizing that true power is rooted in self-awareness, integrity, and a commitment to living with purpose. A man who understands this does not seek to impress others. Instead, he seeks to inspire through his actions, his character, and his contributions. In conclusion, the illusion of power and validation is a dangerous trap that many fall into, believing that external recognition and approval can provide them with a sense of worth. However, this validation is fleeting and unstable, and it can never replace the deep, lasting fulfillment that comes from knowing who you are and living in alignment with your purpose. True power is not dependent on others' opinions, but is rooted in self-awareness, integrity, and a commitment to living authentically. When a man understands his true worth, he no longer seeks validation from external sources. Instead, he operates from a place of confidence, clarity, and purpose, knowing that his true power lies in living out his calling. Unbalanced priorities can have far-reaching and damaging consequences, affecting every area of one's life. When priorities are misaligned, individuals often devote excessive energy to areas that do not truly serve their best interests, while neglecting essential aspects of their well-being, relationships, and personal growth. This imbalance can lead to stress, burnout, fractured relationships, and a general sense of dissatisfaction with life. The consequences of unbalanced priorities are not always immediately visible, but over time, the effects can accumulate and significantly alter a person's life trajectory. One of the most immediate consequences of unbalanced priorities is the loss of personal well-being. When someone places too much emphasis on external achievements, such as career success, financial gain, or societal approval, they often neglect their physical, emotional, and mental health. The constant drive to achieve external goals can lead to stress, anxiety, and physical exhaustion, as there is little time for self-care, rest, or relaxation. People may skip meals, lose sleep, or push through illnesses because they are focused on what they perceive as more pressing tasks. As a result, their overall health deteriorates, making them less effective in every area of their lives. The neglect of personal well-being creates a vicious cycle, where the body and mind begin to break down, which further impedes one's ability to perform at their highest level. Another consequence of unbalanced priorities is the deterioration of relationships. Whether it's a partner, family, or friends, relationships require time, attention, and emotional investment to thrive. When individuals focus excessively on work, material gain, or other external goals, they may neglect the people who matter most to them. This neglect can lead to misunderstandings, resentment, and feelings of isolation, as loved ones feel ignored, unappreciated, or taken for granted. Over time, this emotional distance can create significant rifts in relationships. Individuals may find themselves surrounded by people but still feeling profoundly alone, as the connections that once provided meaning and support are no longer nurtured. The imbalance in priorities often leads to the breakdown of these valuable bonds, leaving a person with a sense of emptiness despite outward success or accomplishments. Moreover, the pursuit of unbalanced priorities can result in a loss of purpose and fulfillment. When a person focuses too narrowly on one aspect of life, such as financial success or career advancement, they often lose sight of what truly matters. They may begin to feel like they are chasing something that is never fully within reach. The accumulation of wealth, accolades, or titles can feel hollow when there is no deeper sense of meaning or purpose attached to them. Over time, this lack of fulfillment can lead to a sense of disillusionment or dissatisfaction. People who do not take the time to reflect on their true values and goals may wake up one day only to realize that they have spent their time and energy on pursuits that do not align with their deeper desires. They may feel as though they have lived someone else's life, driven by societal expectations or external pressures, rather than their authentic purpose. Unbalanced priorities can also lead to a lack of personal growth and stagnation. When people focus too much on certain areas of their life, such as accumulating wealth or seeking external validation, they often neglect personal development. Growth requires reflection, introspection, and a commitment to learning and evolving. However, when priorities are out of alignment, people may overlook opportunities for self-improvement and the cultivation of new skills or perspectives. This lack of growth can lead to a feeling of being stuck or unfulfilled. A person who neglects their emotional, intellectual, and spiritual development may find themselves living a life that lacks depth, creativity, and vitality. Without the ability to learn from mistakes, adapt to new situations, or explore new possibilities, individuals become trapped in the same patterns, unable to experience the fullness of life. Furthermore, unbalanced priorities can hinder a person's ability to make meaningful contributions to others and the world. When individuals are consumed with their own desires, goals, and ambitions, they may overlook the needs of those around them. This self-centered focus not only damages relationships, but also limits one's ability to have a positive impact on the lives of others. True fulfillment often comes from giving, sharing, and contributing to the greater good. But when priorities are out of alignment, people may miss opportunities to make a difference. The pursuit of personal gain at the expense of others can lead to a sense of emptiness as the individual fails to experience the joy and satisfaction that comes from helping and serving others. The consequences of unbalanced priorities are often not limited to personal experiences, but can also affect a person's professional life. In the workplace, unbalanced priorities can lead to burnout, decreased productivity, and poor performance. When individuals are overly focused on their career at the expense of other areas of life, they may experience fatigue, lack of motivation, and even resentment toward their work. The pressure to perform at all costs, without considering the impact on health, relationships, or personal well-being, leads to diminishing returns. In extreme cases, people may even experience a loss of passion for their work, as they realize that their unbalanced priorities have left them drained and unfulfilled. This lack of balance in work and life can also affect decision-making, as individuals may make choices that align with short-term goals but fail to consider long-term consequences. To restore balance in one's life and avoid these consequences, it is essential to realign priorities with true values and long-term goals. It requires taking a step back and assessing what truly matters. This process involves creating space for self-reflection, re-examining personal values, and identifying the areas that need more attention. It also requires establishing boundaries and learning to say no to demands that do not align with one's core priorities. This might mean setting aside time for physical health, nurturing relationships, pursuing personal growth, or contributing to the community. The key to balance is not perfection or rigid adherence to a set of priorities, but the ability to recognize when one area of life is demanding too much attention and to take proactive steps to restore equilibrium. In conclusion, the consequences of unbalanced priorities are far-reaching and profound. They affect one's well-being, relationships, sense of fulfillment, personal growth, and professional life. The inability to manage one's priorities effectively leads to stress, dissatisfaction, and a lack of purpose. However, by realigning priorities and focusing on what truly matters, individuals can restore balance to their lives and experience greater fulfillment and success in every area. Transformation is not simply a change in circumstances or external appearances, it is a deep fundamental shift within a person's heart, mind, and soul. It is a call to become more than we have been, to rise above our current limitations and embrace the fullness of who we are meant to be. Transformation requires intentionality, persistence, and an openness to personal growth and change. It is a journey that challenges us to confront the areas of our lives that need growth, healing, and realignment with our true purpose. The call for transformation is a call to move from mediocrity to greatness, from complacency to action, and from fear to faith. The need for transformation is inherent in every human being, though not everyone recognizes it. At various points in life, we encounter moments of dissatisfaction, frustration, or a sense of stagnation that signal the need for change. We may feel like we are trapped in a cycle of repetitive behaviors, poor decisions, or unfulfilled dreams. These feelings are often the result of unaddressed pain, limited beliefs, or a lack of direction. However, they can also be the precursor to an awakening, a moment where we realize that we are capable of more, that we have the potential to become the person we envision, and that the power to change lies within us. True transformation begins with self-awareness. We must first become aware of who we are, where we are, and why we are where we are. Self-awareness is the foundation upon which all change is built. Without a clear understanding of our current state, we cannot move forward. Many people fail to make the necessary changes because they do not take the time to reflect on their habits, behaviors, and mindset. They continue on autopilot, allowing circumstances to dictate their lives instead of taking control of their own journey. The call for transformation demands that we take a long, hard look at ourselves, our actions, and the choices we have made up until now. Once we have gained self-awareness, the next step in the transformation process is a willingness to let go of what no longer serves us. This involves releasing old habits, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, and past hurts that hold us back from stepping into our true potential. Letting go is not always easy, as it often involves confronting painful memories, fears, or insecurities. Yet, in order to transform, we must release the weight of these burdens. We cannot carry the past into the future and expect to reach new heights. Transformation requires that we shed the old and make room for the new. This can be a difficult but necessary step in the journey toward personal growth. Another crucial element of transformation is the willingness to embrace discomfort. Growth is never comfortable, and true change does not come without a price. To transform, we must be willing to face challenges, endure hardships, and push through discomfort. The process of becoming who we are meant to be requires hard work, perseverance, and resilience. We must step out of our comfort zones, take risks, and be willing to fail. The fear of failure often holds people back from embracing transformation. But failure is not the end, it is merely a stepping stone toward greater success. The call for transformation urges us to face our fears head-on and use them as fuel for our journey forward. Transformation also requires a shift in mindset. Many people are trapped in a mindset of limitation, believing that their circumstances define their potential. They may feel stuck in their jobs, relationships, or personal lives, unable to see beyond their current reality. However, transformation calls for a mindset shift, moving from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, from a mindset of lack to one of possibility. This shift in thinking opens up new avenues for growth, creativity, and opportunity. When we believe that change is possible, we begin to see the opportunities around us, and we take action to create the life we desire. It is not enough to simply wish for change. We must take the necessary steps to manifest that change in our lives. A crucial aspect of transformation is the ability to develop discipline and consistency. Transformation is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey. It requires daily commitment to the process of growth and self-improvement. Many people begin the transformation process with enthusiasm and excitement, only to lose momentum along the way. The initial excitement fades, and they return to old patterns of behavior. To truly transform, we must develop the discipline to continue even when the journey becomes challenging or the results are not immediately apparent. Transformation requires patience, persistence, and the ability to keep going even when the road is tough. Small, consistent actions over time lead to lasting change. Emotional instability and brokenness are silent struggles that often go unnoticed, yet they deeply impact a person's ability to lead a fulfilling life. Many people are walking around seemingly fine on the outside, but inside they are dealing with overwhelming emotional chaos and pain. This inner turmoil often stems from unresolved issues, past wounds, and negative patterns of thinking and behavior that shape the way individuals see themselves and the world around them. Emotional instability and brokenness can result in a person feeling lost, disconnected, and unable to navigate life with clarity and purpose. Emotional instability can manifest in many forms: mood swings, impulsivity, overwhelming anxiety, uncontrollable anger, or depression. It is a state where one's emotions are unpredictable, often causing a person to react disproportionately to situations or to feel as if they are constantly on an emotional roller coaster. For someone dealing with emotional instability, even the smallest triggers can send them into a spiral of negative emotions. Relationships become strained, decisions are made impulsively, and productivity takes a hit as the person is not operating from a place of emotional balance. One of the most destructive aspects of emotional instability is its tendency to distort one's perception of reality. When emotions are not regulated or managed properly, they cloud a person's judgment and interfere with their ability to think logically and clearly. A person may become trapped in cycles of negative thinking where their emotions dictate how they see themselves and others. This can result in feelings of worthlessness, fear, or resentment that only exacerbate the instability. When a person's emotional state constantly fluctuates, they lose touch with who they are and what they stand for, becoming more reactive and less intentional in their actions. Brokenness, on the other hand, is a deeper condition. It is a state where a person's emotional, mental, or spiritual health has been shattered by past experiences, failures, and pain. Brokenness often stems from childhood trauma, betrayal, heartbreak, rejection, or loss. It leaves a person feeling fragmented and disconnected from their true self. They may struggle to find meaning in life, question their value, or feel as if they are incomplete. Brokenness manifests itself in a lack of confidence, a fear of vulnerability, and an inability to trust others fully. It leads to a sense of isolation, where the individual feels as though they are carrying a burden that no one else can understand or help them bear. Emotional instability and brokenness often go hand in hand. Someone who is emotionally unstable is more likely to feel the effects of brokenness in a profound way, as their inability to regulate their emotions keeps them trapped in painful cycles. Likewise, someone who is broken emotionally may find it difficult to stabilize their emotional state, as unresolved pain can act as a constant trigger. This creates a vicious cycle where emotional instability deepens the sense of brokenness, and brokenness exacerbates emotional instability. The consequences of emotional instability and brokenness are far-reaching. In relationships, these conditions can lead to misunderstandings, communication breakdowns, and conflict. When a person is unable to manage their emotions, they may lash out at loved ones or withdraw, creating distance and mistrust. In the workplace or other areas of life, emotional instability can hinder growth and success. A person may struggle to stay focused, make decisions, or engage with others effectively. The mental and physical toll of emotional instability also cannot be underestimated. It can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and even physical ailments as the body responds to the constant tension of unregulated emotions. However, while emotional instability and brokenness are difficult, they are not permanent conditions. Healing is possible, but it requires intentionality, self-awareness, and the willingness to confront the pain and discomfort that lies beneath the surface. The first step in healing from emotional instability and brokenness is recognizing the problem. Many people who suffer from emotional instability or brokenness may not even realize they are struggling because they have learned to live with the pain. Acknowledging the emotional chaos within is the first step toward healing. The next step is understanding that healing requires time and effort. There is no quick fix or shortcut to overcoming emotional instability or brokenness. It is a process that requires patience, self-compassion, and support. Seeking professional help, whether through therapy or counseling, can provide valuable tools and strategies for managing emotions and working through unresolved pain. Additionally, developing emotional intelligence and learning how to regulate emotions are essential skills for anyone on the journey to emotional healing. Forgiveness is another key aspect of healing from brokenness. Often people who are emotionally unstable or broken are carrying the weight of past wounds, whether they are caused by others or by themselves. Forgiveness does not mean excusing the actions of others, but it means releasing the power those past experiences have over you. It is a decision to let go of resentment, bitterness, and anger, which allows space for healing and growth. It is also important to forgive oneself, as self-blame and guilt often compound the emotional instability and brokenness that one experiences. Building a solid support system is also crucial in the healing process. Surrounding oneself with people who are understanding, compassionate, and willing to walk alongside you as you heal can provide the emotional nourishment needed for recovery. Healthy relationships provide the security and encouragement necessary to rebuild trust and self-worth. At the same time, one must learn to set healthy boundaries and avoid toxic relationships that may reinforce emotional instability and brokenness. Lastly, healing involves rediscovering purpose. When a person is emotionally unstable or broken, they often feel lost, directionless, or hopeless. However, connecting with one's sense of purpose can reignite a sense of hope and motivation. Purpose gives life meaning, and it becomes the anchor that keeps a person steady through the storms of emotional turmoil. Whether it is through personal goals, faith, or helping others, purpose offers the strength to overcome emotional struggles and find peace amidst the chaos. In conclusion, emotional instability and brokenness are significant challenges, but they do not define a person's worth or future. Through self-awareness, forgiveness, seeking support, and rediscovering purpose, healing is possible. The journey is not easy, but it is one of immense growth, strength, and resilience. By embracing the healing process, a person can move from brokenness to wholeness, from instability to emotional equilibrium, and ultimately from a place of pain to a place of peace and fulfillment. The erosion of true intimacy is a slow, often unnoticed process that gradually weakens the foundation of relationships. It can happen in romantic relationships, friendships, or even within families. Over time, people may become more disconnected, and what once was a deep, meaningful bond begins to fade into something superficial. This erosion is rarely sudden, but rather occurs incrementally as individuals become preoccupied with external factors, lose touch with their authentic selves, or fail to nurture the emotional, mental, and spiritual aspects of their connections. What was once a fulfilling and close relationship can, over time. One of the primary causes of the erosion of intimacy is the rise of distractions. In today's fast-paced world, technology has become both a tool for connection and a barrier to deep, meaningful relationships. People often find themselves consumed by their smartphones, social media, or work obligations. Instead of connecting with loved ones on a deeper level, they are distracted by constant notifications or busy schedules. This digital distraction leads to a lack of quality time spent together, and as a result, the emotional bond begins to weaken. True intimacy requires presence, being fully engaged with another person, both mentally and emotionally. When distractions take precedence over quality time, intimacy naturally begins to erode. Another significant factor in the erosion of true intimacy is emotional neglect. In the hustle of everyday life, people can easily lose sight of the emotional needs of others. Partners may assume that love is implied and thus fail to express affection, appreciation, or support in meaningful ways. Over time, this lack of emotional investment leads to a feeling of loneliness, even when individuals are physically present. When emotional needs are not met, individuals may begin to feel unseen, unheard, and unimportant. Without open communication and intentional efforts to nurture emotional connection, intimacy starts to deteriorate. Relationships that lack emotional depth become fragile and prone to misunderstandings or conflicts that could have been avoided if there were more emotional closeness. Another cause of intimacy erosion is the presence of unresolved conflicts or unmet expectations. When issues are not addressed, they create a silent divide between people. These unresolved issues accumulate over time, building a wall between individuals. Instead of working through their problems together, partners or friends may choose to suppress their feelings or avoid difficult conversations, which ultimately prevents them from growing closer. This avoidance creates a gap, and as the gap widens, the emotional connection weakens. The foundation of trust and understanding that is crucial for true intimacy becomes compromised. Without mutual effort to resolve conflicts, intimacy is no longer nurtured, and the relationship gradually becomes distant and cold. Lack of vulnerability also plays a significant role in the erosion of intimacy. Intimacy thrives on trust and openness. To experience true intimacy, individuals must be willing to expose their vulnerabilities, share their deepest thoughts and feelings, and allow themselves to be seen for who they truly are. However, many individuals struggle with vulnerability due to fear of rejection, judgment, or past hurts. As a result, they may choose to keep parts of themselves hidden, creating a barrier between themselves and those they care about. Over time, This reluctance to be vulnerable erodes the connection that once existed. True intimacy cannot thrive in an environment where individuals are afraid to reveal their true selves. Without vulnerability, the relationship becomes shallow, and the deeper emotional bond that is needed for intimacy is lost. Furthermore, a lack of personal growth can lead to the erosion of intimacy. As individuals change and evolve over time, they must continue to grow and develop emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. However, if one or both individuals in a relationship become stagnant, the dynamic between them can shift. People who fail to evolve or learn from past experiences may find themselves out of alignment with their partner's values, goals, or needs. When this happens, they may find it more difficult to connect on a deeper level, and intimacy becomes compromised. Personal growth is essential to maintaining a healthy, vibrant relationship. If both individuals are not actively growing and seeking to improve themselves, the relationship becomes stale and the connection begins to erode.